I'm Julie Parisi, and I am the Chief Operating Officer and Director of Business Development at New City Market. Although by the time this will air, I will be the Executive Director of New City Market. So that's my role. That's what I do. That's where I work, and I love it here.
Yay. Well, congratulations. You go, girl.
Thank you.
I love it. Well, Julie, tell us more about your story, your background, where you came from, all those great things like that.
Absolutely. So I suppose my background is mostly that I started my own business. I grew up in a big Italian family, and I used to make pasta with my grandmother every Sunday. I turned that into an artisan pasta company that we started about 11 years ago. And so that's been my shtick for the last 10 years, but it's really been instrumental in getting me to have the positions that I have today. So, and it's really, I feel so fortunate to be able to take a lot of that knowledge and experience I've gained over the years running that business to be able to help other small businesses get started, kind of just knowing what pitfalls to avoid or things to really focus in on. And so it's been really a lot of fun to do that.
That is so neat. I did not know that. That is so cool girl, it takes a special person to make pasta. Special. I've tried it once and I was like, never again will I do it. But that's awesome. I love it. So in your current role, I know you're kind of transitioning and doing all those great things like that, but tell us more about your role, how it's impacted you, and how it's brought you to where you are today.
So, when I first started here at the market, it was really my first kind of, official administrative job. I had always, I did everything from dishwashing to deliveries with my kids in the backseat to, filling out invoices and all of those hats that you wear as an entrepreneur. I kind of had to ball it up all into one and do this stuff here at the market, which has been, partly challenging in a really good way, because it's kind of forced me to look at things differently, but it's given me new tools to help other folks too. So kind of that chaos that happens when you're in those day-to-day operations as a business owner, I've really been able to focus those things, make sense of it all, and put processes around it so that I can help other businesses implement some of these tools for themselves. Makes things go faster. Learning off of someone else's experience really, really can help just get you off the ground more quickly. So I'm happy to play that part for them.
Yeah, that is so cool. Now we all know, right? You're an entrepreneur, do all the things. Now with every accomplishment, right, there are so many challenges behind it. Any words of advice for anybody that's trying to make it get started or just get back on their feet?
Yeah, just keep going. There's always going to be another thing that will get in your way. And don't let those little things stop you, because there's, in the process of getting through that, over that hurdle or through that challenging time, is a lot of learning and a lot of lessons. So every good thing and every not good thing that have happened to me along the years and along my path, I've always asked myself, what's the lesson? Like, what was the thing that I learned through this process? And it can be like good or bad or otherwise, but as long as you're learning and you take that new knowledge and apply it to the rest of your life, that's, an experience worthwhile.
That is great advice. Fantastic. As a woman over here trying to start her own boutique and really get it off the ground, I'm like, okay, this is great advice. I like it. Okay, keep bringing it to me. I love it. All right. Well, speed round. This is kind of a fun round where we get to kind of learn one-off things about you that you learned, or just different advice and all those great things like that. So this is one of my favorite rounds. First question: favorite author or book, previous, present, or even favorite movie?
So in general, I love reading cookbooks, which I feel probably makes me a nerd, but I will read recipes and like get inspiration from different things. But in particular, I love reading anything by Anthony Bourdain. He has a really special way of writing that makes you feel like you're just kind of talking, having a conversation with him. So it's a lot of fun to read him. And of course, he writes things about, his days in professional kitchens. So it's a good subject matter for me.
Oh, I love it. That is so good. I'm kind of with you. I've actually started using HelloFresh, just like trying to get back to being inspired by food again. And I'm like, oh, this is so much fun, but I am not anywhere near to your expert level. I love it. Best advice that you've ever received from anybody from ground zero to where you are now?
I think, one of the best was, and I use it all the time nowadays, is a rising tide floats all boats. And I just love that because it really just speaks to like the power of positivity and like people working together. And, when you can bring up the level, more people succeed. And so that's kind of a logic that I apply to work every day. How do we make this place better and help more people succeed? But I apply it personally too. So it's something that I heard years ago, and I loved that phrase, and it's just really stuck with me.
I love that. That's awesome. Who is your hero, or who inspires you every day?
This is also kind of corny, but my kids totally inspire me, and they're my mini heroes. Like, they come up with some of the funniest things I hear all day long, and I talk to adults all day long, and I'm still like, they're funnier. you know?
Yes, I get you.
There's little things that they do, and they have this fearless nature that I kind of want to like harness a little bit for myself. And I love the way their mind works right now. They're 5 and 6 years old. So right now they're my little heroes.
That is awesome. I totally understand that. I have a 2-year-old, and I'm like, where did you come up with that? But I love it, and I'm going to take it in and soak it in. I love it. Favorite place? I know this is hard. I've been telling everybody, this is a really hard question. Favorite place to eat or shop local? And you can have more than one.
Okay. Favorite place to eat locally? Oh man, that is a really hard one. Well, I love Big Grove Brewery. I think, it's kind of a twofer because the food is really good. Their chef's great, but also the beer is phenomenal. So I do enjoy going to Big Grove. Local pour is really good. Favorite places to do retail shopping? I still am obsessed with going to Moss and just like looking at plants and touching plants. So I like going there, and that like little vintage stores that what's the place in the Czech Village called? Harlequin Home, I think. Is that something
like that? Something like that. Yes.
It's just fun, and the kids love going in there too because they always find little trinkets. They're like, can we have this? And so I'm like, yes. It's a lot of fun. So
that's great.
Those are my places, I think. And I'm sure I'm missing other. I'll think of it later. Like, oh man.
I love it. No, those are great. I'm with you on Big Grove. Like, by far, like some of the best beer around, which is fantastic. And I always I've been thrown in a fun one. Since you do work down at New Bow City Market, but you work close to an ice cream shop. What is your favorite ice cream flavor?
Oh man. There's like a coffee chocolate chip. I like that. Yeah.
Yum.
I love Almost Famous, but I also love Dan and Debbie's down in Ely. So they have a coffee chip there that is to die for. But there's not really an ice cream that I'll turn down. So
like any and all. I am with you though. I love anything with coffee, right? I'm like, you make ice cream with coffee? That's fantastic. I love it. So my last question for you, in your own words, what does it mean to receive this award, and who has helped you along the way?
It's very humbling to receive it, because I know there's a lot of hard-working women in the area. So to be recognized as one of them is kind of phenomenal. And I'm still wondering how you guys came up with that. But it's been really great to meet so many people through my job here at the market. People who have become my mentors in different ways. So, I certainly wouldn't be where I am today without having access to those people and being around them and growing my network, because of the job that I have. I think I've had a lot of great mentors kind of come into my life now since having, in my role here at the market. A couple of the people that I think have probably been really helpful for my growth professionally are Julie Lammers and Scott Swenson over at the Small Business Development Center. They have been doing this a lot longer than I have. They've worked a lot with many of our market shopkeepers. So it's really nice to have a couple, people who have experience working in this business development area. And we, have the same common goals, which is to help people start small businesses. So it's been great to be able to, bounce ideas off of them or talk with them. And they've definitely been, personally my mentors, and the things that I kind of learned from them, I'm able to help apply to the things that we do at the market to support small business. So they've been great. And there's countless others, mentors, some people on our board of directors, other people in the community that I get to work with that I feel really privileged to know. So it's a lot. There's a lot of people. I think it takes a village to still raise this girl, unfortunately, but here I am, and I'm soaking it all in because there's a lot of talent around us.
That is great.